backyard, Brent. I'm out here in Hopewell Township, and one of the ways that finding to connect to nature out here is by berry picking. So it's July 11th, and there are a lot of berries that are available right now. And in July, it's a great time to go out in the early morning to a field, to a meadow, and find some berries. So one of the ones is right here that is just starting to get ready is a blackberry. So it tastes really good. And you can tell it's a blackberry. If you look really close at the stem, you can tell it's a blackberry by the square stem on the plant, and it also has obviously it's a blackberry, so it's blacker in color. Now, this is a good example of it right here. You can see that square stem, that deeply ridged stem right there. That shows you that it's a blackberry. And we also have right now some other berries that are accessible. Right here are some more blackberries. And we're also looking for raspberries. So you can tell if it's a raspberry. One of the ways to tell is if it has a white powdery substance on its stem, and that shows that's actually called a Glaucus Bloom. It's actually a type of fungus. So the Glaucus Bloom is a key characteristic of the raspberry. Now you can see a lot of these blackberries aren't quite ripe yet, if you can tell. They're going to come later in July, early August for the blackberries. And then another one is the dewberry too. So I'm going to show you that in a little bit. Dewberry is actually an invasive species called wineberry or dewberry. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit once I find it. And that's an invasive species. So you know what I say about invasive species? Eating is the best revenge, because it really is really the best way to get rid of it is to eat it, because that fruit is really the seed, obviously, of the plant, and it's designed for something to eat it and then obviously excrement and get it out of its system, and then like birds do, that's how they spread their seeds. So let's look around a little bit more for some other berries. What else can we find to eat out here? Okay. Okay. Still seeing a lot of blackberries here that aren't quite ripe. Okay, you can tell right here. The square stem, that's the key characteristic. Remember, when you're identifying things, if you can just see one thing that sets it apart, this is what I teach the students. If you just remember one thing that sets it apart, that's called the key characteristic. That'll help you identify it, okay? So those aren't ripe yet, but we will be back here later to eat those. Let's see. All right, I'll just point out a few things as I'm still looking for some raspberries. This is sassafras, and this actually was eaten by Native Americans a long time ago. So how do you remember this? Is you have the ghost, okay, the ghost leaf, and they like to play football with mittens. So there's 3 distinctly shaped leaves here on the sassafras. And so what they did was they used to have to dig up the tree to get the root, and then they made some type of a drink out of a beverage out of it. Okay, but it's one of the very unusual trees that has 3 distinctly shaped leaves. It's very interesting. Sassafras right here. And it tends to grow on a type of an edge habitat because it's an understory tree. So this is, an edge habitat is a place where 2 communities come together. You have the meadow, the field community right here. You have the forested community. Well, this right here is place where something like a sassafras that needs a lot of sunlight will will grow and flourish. Okay, it's an understory tree. Okay. Let's see. Still looking for our friends, the raspberries. Whoa, we got something in here. But I see raspberry, but do I see any? I see the plant, but I don't see any of the actual berries. Okay. So, looking right here. So yeah, what I was telling you before was the Glaucus Bloom right here is this white, actually powdery. It kind of comes off when you touch it. So this white powdery substance, that's the raspberry. Okay, that's a key characteristic. Remember one thing. You remember one thing from to identify anything. You just remember one thing that sets it apart. Key characteristic. So that Glaucus Bloom, if you can see right there, I'm like rubbing on it. That's actually a type of fungus. Okay, and the raspberry has that. So now looking for the actual raspberries in here. Also being very careful because poison ivy is very abundant around here, and I have gotten it once this year for the first time in about 20 years by accident. So still looking for raspberries, and I see some right here. Oh, I got one. Okay, got one. All right. So there are red raspberries and black raspberries. Rubus idaeus is one of the Latin names, and I forget the other one. Rubus something else is the other genus species name, or the other one. So I believe this is a red raspberry. Okay, let's try this. Really good. All right, so I really recommend you come out to a meadow field in Hopewell Township or somewhere near you in July. There's a lot of great raspberries that you can find right now because it is July 11th, and soon will be blackberries. We'll talk about that later. Okay, have a good day.